Welcome to Warriors Analysis, where we look at the greatest warriors the world has ever seen in media, pop culture, and history. Today we're looking at the classic holiday grumpy green antagonist and the creature who stole Christmas, the Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
Coming from the creative mind of Dr. Seuss, The Grinch stands as a children's book and holiday movie icon. Today we will be focusing primarily on the 1966 film, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and not the live action or even his other Halloween cartoon or book appearances. You may be wondering why I would choose to cover the Grinch in this episode, because he isn't technically a warrior in the sense of fighting in his appearances. But once we analyze his skills, abilities, and feats, you may feel differently. The very first thing we find out about the Grinch is that he hates Christmas. He lives alone on the top of Mount Crumpet and broods over the annoying happiness of the Who's in Whoville. After dealing with it for 53 years, and with Christmas coming in just a few short hours, the Grinch decides that he needs to do something about it. It takes an expert analytical mind to successfully complete a heist as big as the one the Grinch came up with, and he did it with barely any prep time. On top of that, his planning time was hindered by needing to tailor his own suit and make a ramshackle sleigh. Beginning movie Grinch is ruthless and conniving. We learn a few things about him right away that are of note. He can turn his head completely around, which could be seen as one of his few durability feats, and we learn that he is at least 53 years old. Now, we don't know if the Grinch is the same race as the Who's or not, but if so, he may be past his prime, or they just live a very long time. The only other character we can compare this to is Cindy Lou Who is not more than 2, and definitely acts and appears as a toddler. After his quick planned preparations, he journeys down the mountain with Max, which shows that the Grinch is absolutely fearless. He has zero worries heading straight down the mountain at top speed. Considering the amount of work he gets done in a single night, the Grinch has a surprisingly small array of equipment. We see him utilize a powerful magnet, sacks, a sleigh, and Max, who is more of a moral support dog / emotional abuse punching bag. This means that the Grinch relies primarily on his own abilities throughout the film. We've discussed his analytical mind, fearlessness, and ruthlessness, which we find examples of almost immediately. And while he is rough around the edges, the Grinch also has some convincing manipulation skills and charm, easily tricking Cindy Lou Who, a toddler to be fair, and debatably the entire population of Whoville at the end of the film. And I say this because we don't actually know if he told them the truth about the events, or if he just went along with Cindy Lou Who's story that he was bringing all the items back after being fixed. But where the Grinch truly shines is in his strength and agility. Let's take a look at his stealth feats. This guy slides into Whoville almost completely unnoticed. Besides Cindy Lou Who, not a single Who in Whoville was aware of his presence. We see him slither and sneak through multiple houses, swinging his way across rooftops, and leaving practically zero evidence, minus some hooks and wire. But he doesn't even leave crumbs. He is also incredibly accurate with tossing things up the chimney, and even strategically plays pool with ornaments. It's also worth mentioning that he keeps his balance impressively well on the trip down the mountain, with Max climbing all over him. The Grinch's strength is what really stands out. There's one excellent comparison feat to the Who's. In the very beginning of the film, we see multiple Who's, large and small, carrying a tree together. In contrast to the Grinch, who carries the same fully adorned tree by himself while sneaking like nothing. He is also seen easily manhandling multiple sacks of intricate gifts, including heavy musical instruments, and a vast array of other unique Who items which we saw in his visions in the beginning of the film. His most impressive speed feat is sprinting up a snowy mountain before gravity pulls the packed sleigh down the hill. We see it falling and he still manages to get up and catch it. The Grinch's greatest weakness is his short temper. On top of being incredibly bitter when it comes to the Who's happiness, he gets pretty angry at his dog Max frequently. He also has no patience for the loud Who noises, and they appear to have a triggering effect on him. His heart is also 2 sizes too small, which may have hindered his full potential. However, as we know, this doesn't last, and the Grinch has a change of heart at the end of the film, where his heart grows 3 sizes. This doesn't seem to hurt him at all, and it is here that we see the Grinch's most massive strength feat, easily lifting up the entire sleigh, filled completely with every single decoration, Christmas tree, gift, and holiday food item from Whoville. The narrator Boris Karloff, oh hey, check him out in my last Warriors analysis video as the monster, tells us that the Grinch increased his strength by 12 times. This is a pretty insane amount of power based on all of the feats he had before this, making the Grinch an absolute beast. So while a 12 times stronger Grinch may have the power, his demeanor also changes physically with his heart and his eyes, and behaviorally in an attempt to undo the wrongs that he made to make peace with the Whos. The Grinch is a holiday icon and a great reminder to not take the commercialism of the holidays so seriously. Remember, Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. Whatever you may or may not celebrate, remember to take time to appreciate the people you love this holiday season. I thank you so much for joining me on this 5th episode of Warriors Analysis. Who's next?